Hello there. Are you sure you're in the right place? See the name on the door? This podcast is spine chillers and serial killers. Surely you don't want to come in here. You do. Well, I must warn you that things are pretty adult in here. Absolutely no children are allowed. Obscene language, shocking and horrendous stories to chill you to your core, and terrifying tales that'll keep you up at night. The ladies inside aren't quite right. Lovely and hilarious, but very strange. Still want in, do you? Well, you'll get what you're here for. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome back to Spine Chillers and Serial Killers. I'm Emma.
I'm Tash.
And I'm Becky. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Really good. No complaints.
Good. That's what we like. No complaints.
Yeah. None at all.
The weather.
The weather. It's autumn. Oh, it's officially autumn.
Oh.
I'm wearing a very seasonal t-shirt.
I'm wearing a
I
long
love
sleeve
it.
t-shirt.
I'm wearing a really summery t-shirt, so I'm not. But I've got my Doc Martens back out, so.
Oh, I got some new boots, and they're like Doc Martens, but I can't afford Doc Martens.
Second hand or vintage?
Yeah, I suppose. But these ones have got bees on them. They're bright yellow.
Ooh.
And they're covered in bees. So I like them. My husband is like, why?
Oh, stop it, Ben. Bees make the world go round. Without bees, we are nothing. That's what you say to him. Without bees, we are nothing.
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 Just to be clear, he's not like, oh, you're not going out in these. You know, I can wear whatever the fuck I want, just to make that clear. But, yeah, I'm eccentric. I like, stuff.
You've
Like
always
bees on boots.
been slightly alternative.
It's true.
And to what extent? That's varied very much over the years, hasn't it?
I feel I'm a lot, less alternative now.
Yeah. But do you know what? We love you, Em. And you always look great. So you rock those bees.
Oh, thanks, babes.
Yeah.
Bless.
You're welcome.
Well, I feel like you are who you hang out with, right? And you two are absolutely gorgeous, so I can't be that much of a minger.
Stop it.
Anyway, Tash, you have a little story, I think, for us.
I do. So my daughter, 99% of the time, thinks I'm really uncool. But occasionally, she gives me a little glimmer that she actually thinks I'm all right. And this week, she chose to invest in the fact that I do the podcast, which I'm here for. And she asked me if she could find a spooky story online for me to read out. So it's very much think of like a 10-second video, you watch it and you think, oh, that's weird. And then you never think about it again. But she thought it was creepy and I'm going to read it out.
Go on then. It's cute. Baby spine chiller.
Yeah. My best friend confided in me one day about her worries. She told me about how in the middle of the night, she kept hearing whispers in her bedroom. These whispers would repeat the same number over and over again. But each night, the number would become lower and lower.
Like a countdown.
A few weeks later, on a Tuesday, what night do we record, girls?
Tuesdays.
My friend told me that her numbers were getting lower and lower. It was due to be the number 7 that night. My friend had no idea what those whispers were counting down to. but she told me how anxious she was beginning to feel ever since the whispers started several months ago. It's Wednesday today. My friend isn't in school.
Oh, no.
She didn't tell me yesterday she was going to be absent. And then I realised last night the voices would have been whispering the number 0.
I don't like that.
The end.
No! Oh, no.
What happened?
So actually, well, I guess we'll never know. Well done, Esme.
Thanks, Esme. Bless
Did
your
Esme
heart.
write that, or did she find it online? Did
No,
you say?
she found it. I did suggest she find something, but she's not one for writing.
No, bless her.
Oh, it was pretty creepy, to be fair.
Yeah, she did well, didn't she?
While we're on the subject of creepy kids, my 6-year-old has started telling me that she can hear voices. But you know how we've spoken about hearing somebody talk like right in your ear and waking up to hear somebody call you? Well, she started getting that. And she's turned up in my bedroom quite a few times now going, Mummy, I've just heard somebody go in my ear. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure. And it's such a dilemma because I'm like, oh, darling, it'll be nothing. You'll be hearing a cat or a dog. And she's like, but Mum, it's like right in my ear. And I can hear like it going, ooh, or, you know, it's just like weird mouth sounds. And it's a really hard call because I believe that she is hearing it 100% because I've experienced it and they're my children. So, you know, genetically, I'm not going to say that there's no way they're going to experience the same thing. I can either say it's nothing, you're hearing the cat and dog, put her back to bed, or I can validate her and say, oh, you know, that used to happen to me. Don't worry, it's nothing to worry about. But I don't want to scare her. So it's a real dilemma, actually, because...
Is she easily scared or is she receptive to stuff like that?
She's not like my eldest who is terrified of everything, but that I can tell that this upsets her when it happens. I can tell.
To be honest, I think at her age, I would say, oh, that sounds a bit weird. Maybe one of the dogs are making a funny noise. So you're not completely like undermining what she's saying because you're saying maybe. I think it's about choosing your words carefully, so like, oh, maybe it's one of the dogs, or oh, I did hear an owl outside earlier, you know, like so you're not completely discrediting what she's feeling because you don't want, should it be something more as she grows older, for her to feel like she wasn't heard and she wasn't listened to.
No,
but I think
I
think it's pretty much like everything, isn't it, with our kids?
Just make it not scary.
Making it age appropriate as well.
Yeah.
And then you could say like, oh, maybe not say you, but you could say, oh, my friend said she used to hear things like weird stuff and sometimes it felt a bit spooky, and so she would just talk to whatever she could hear and just say, oh, I know you're there, but I'm going back to sleep, night. And like maybe turn it so she's a bit sassy or something, you know.
She would be sassy as well.
Bye.
Yeah, so that's fun. My kids have I think they're going to be 2 little goths just like their mum.
I love that.
2 little spooky goths. Right, shall we Oh, no, I have got something else. We got a little review on Facebook.
Oh, did we?
We did. Let me show it to you. Oh, that was awful.
That was spooky. Let me show it to you. That's what they kind of sound like. I'm a ghost. Scary. Ooh. 1 star.
Okay, so this is a review on Facebook. 100% recommend. Michelle O'Malley. Found these funny ladies a few months ago. Binged them every day while I was working. Absolutely loving them.
Go on, girl.
I'm an American New Yorker living in Ireland now with my husband and teen triplets. That sounds like a lot of hard work.
I think do it all at once. I think great idea.
I suppose they keep each other busy. Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm listening to old friends from New York with these ladies, which is really sweet.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
They're like my sisters from other misters. Found ladies with quirky personalities just like me. All the cases they talk about are very interesting as well. So thank you so much, Michelle.
Yeah,
thanks, babe. We love having you.
Yes, welcome. Welcome. And
talk about us to your friends.
you can consider us to be your besties. That's fine.
Yeah.
We have many besties.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Teen triplets, though. Whew, go mama.
Yeah, go mama.
Absolutely.
Because the hormones, the mood swings, ×3. Wow.
Oh, don't even talk to me about that.
Yeah, preteen is something.
Preteen life is something, isn't it?
It's definitely something. It's definitely something. Have you got a teenager yet, Bex?
Yeah. Yeah, my eldest is teenager.
How's that going?
Great. No, I think, to be fair, I think she's going to be the easiest of the bunch. It's just because she is so calm and quiet. When she does go off on one, I'm like, what's going on?
That's what it's like with mine. When she gives me attitude, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who you are and who you think you're talking to.
Oh, the amount of times you say, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but...
the other day, the first time she got in a mood with me and ignored me over text. Like, I was messaging her and she wasn't replying. I was like, oh, well, she must just not have her phone. And when I got in, I was like, oh, did you get my messages? And she said, yeah, I did. And I said, did you purposely ignore me? And she said, yes. I thought it was so funny. And we both laughed. So it didn't last that long. I was like, oh.
No.
But it was funny because it was the first time. But it's not going to be as funny the million other times that she's bound to do it. So, yeah, teenagers are great.
Yeah. Anyway, if anybody wants to review us on Facebook, feel free. We love it. Or you can review us on Apple Podcasts. I think you can actually review us on Spotify now. Pocket Casts off the top of my head. Good Pods, maybe? That was probably a really unattractive noise, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. I just kind of went...
You made me laugh with tea in my mouth. Yeah.
I like it when your mouth's full, babe.
I don't know how to reply to that. Full of what, Emma?
All right, Tash.
Yeah. Maybe a bit hot.
You chug that tea. Swallow it.
Oh. Just... All right, stop it.
Shall we get this party started then with some stories? Sadly, mine isn't that funny this week. It's about a disappearance that still remains unsolved.
Oh, they make me feel so uncomfortable. I try and unsolved mysteries. I'm always like, but I want closure. So
I need to know.
I can't imagine how it is for the families.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get it, I'm afraid. So this week, I am talking about the disappearance of Frederick Valentich. Frederick Valentich was born on the 9th of June, 1958, to parents Guido and Albertina Valentich.
I love the name Guido. Such a fun name.
Yeah. The family lived in Melbourne, Australia, and little Frederick always dreamed of aviation and aspired to become a commercial airline pilot. A dream that he did follow, but with many setbacks. Once he was of age, he tried to join the RAAF, but was rejected twice because of his inadequate educational qualifications. He then started working towards his commercial pilot's license and had racked up 150 hours of flying experience, which allowed him to fly at night as long as the weather conditions permitted it. At the age of 20, he fell in love with a 16-year-old called Rhonda Rushton. This is 1958.
Yeah, I imagine that it was okay back then.
And if he was 24 and she was 20, we wouldn't question it.
But I was definitely 16 going out with a 21-year-old. So,
yeah, And now we all realise that was kind of not okay.
that was not correct.
But he had a car.
He did. He did. He had a car.
So, yeah, he's in love with a girl called Rhonda Rushton, who's 16. They quickly began a serious relationship, and after just a few months, Frederick proposed to Rhonda using a friendship ring, promising her that he would replace it with a proper engagement ring as soon as he could afford it.
That's sweet.
Aww.
That is sweet. At least his intentions were pure. Like, he wanted to marry her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He often took Rhoda flying with him, and she described him as a diligent and responsible pilot. Despite this description from Rhonda, it must be known that Frederick had also received several warnings after flying once into a restricted zone in Sydney and twice into clouds. On October 21st, 1978, Frederick rented a Cessna 182L, a popular single-engine light airplane that had been widely used for personal, instructional and light commercial purposes, for a training flight from Moorabbin to King Island, a 125-mile trek over the Bass Strait. Given the typical cruising speed of the Cessna 182L, which is around 114 knots, approximately 160 miles per hour, or 260 kilometres per hour, that should get everybody covered. The flight should have taken about 1 to 1.5 hours under normal conditions. The tank was fully fueled, which would allow 5 hours of flying time, give or take. So he's got plenty of fuel. The weather conditions are good. All is hunky-dory. He had told some that he was going to pick up friends, and others had been told that he was going to pick up crayfish. So he's being a bit sketchy there. He's not giving the same reasons for the flight. And neither of the stories turned out to be true. In fact, it came to light later that Frederick hadn't even informed the King Island Flight Service of his arrival, which of course was against protocol.
Mm-hmm. Not good.
This information only adds to the mystery around his disappearance. He left Moorabbin Airport at approximately 6:19 p.m. and would never be seen again. At 1900 hours local time, Valentich radioed that he had Cape Otway in sight, which was on his flight path, so we can assume he was on track and in the right place at the right time. According to the weather station, the weather in Cape Otway was clear, excellent visibility and light winds. At 1906, Frederick radioed Melbourne Flight Service asking if there were any other aircrafts around him, to which they replied there was none. He said he was being followed by a craft with what looked like 4 bright landing lights and 1 big green light. He said the craft appeared to be playing with him and travelling at great speeds. He asked again if there were any military planes around, as he couldn't quite grasp what he was seeing, but nothing was supposed to be flying near him. He then stated that the craft had vanished altogether, but had quickly reappeared and was back on his tail. The radio then fell silent, except for the sound of a strange metallic scraping, and then nothing. That was the last time anyone would ever hear from Frederick Valentich. So I have the actual transcript of his final moments here, and the fabulous Edward October from Octoberpod AM and Mike from Brew have done little voiceovers so that we can actually listen to the transcript.
Oh, love it.
I know. Bless them. So thank you very much. Go check their podcasts out. Go give them 5-star ratings because they are my best podcast friends and they're always helping us out. And this also has been edited by Edward October, who is an absolute whiz at what he does. So here we go. I'll play it for you now.
Melbourne, this is Delta Sierra Juliet. Is there any known traffic below 5,000?
Delta Sierra Juliet. No known traffic.
Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000.
Delta Sierra Juliet. What type of aircraft is it?
I cannot affirm. It is 4 bright, seems to me like landing lights.
Delta Sierra Juliet.
Melbourne, this is Delta Sierra Juliet. The aircraft has just passed over me at least 1,000 feet above.
Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. And it is a large aircraft? Confirm?
Unknown due to the speed it's traveling. Is there any Air Force aircraft in the vicinity?
Delta Sierra Juliet. No known aircraft in the vicinity.
Melbourne, it's approaching now from due east towards me.
Delta Sierra Juliet.
It seems to me that he's playing some sort of game. He's flying over me 2-3 times at a time at speeds that I could not identify.
Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. What is your actual level?
My level is 4,500. 4500.
Delta Sierra Juliet. And confirm you cannot identify the aircraft?
Affirmative.
Delta Sierra Juliet. Roger. Stand by.
Melbourne, Delta Sierra Juliet. It's not an aircraft. It is...
Delta Sierra Juliet, Melbourne. Can you describe the aircraft?
As it's flying past, it's a long shape. Cannot identify more than that. It has such speed. It is before me right now, Melbourne.
Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. And how large would the object be?
Melbourne, it seems like it's stationary. What I'm doing right now is orbiting, and the thing is just orbiting on top of me. Also, it's got a green light and sort of metallic-like. It's all shiny on the outside.
Delta Sierra Juliet.
It's just vanished.
Delta Sierra Juliet.
Melbourne, would you know what kind of aircraft I've got? It is a type of military aircraft.
Delta Sierra Juliet. Confirm that. Aircraft just vanished?
Say again.
Delta Sierra Juliet. Is the aircraft still with you?
It's, north. Now approaching from the southwest.
Delta Sierra Juliet.
The engine is rough idling. I've got it set at 23, 24, and the thing is coughing.
Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. What are your intentions?
My intentions are, to go to King Island. Melbourne, that strange aircraft is hovering on top of me again. It is hovering, and it's not an aircraft.
Delta Sierra Juliet.
Melbourne.
Delta Sierra Juliet, Melbourne.
Melbourne.
And there you go. Now, just to clarify, none of that has been dramatized. On the transcript, the moments of silence and open radio and sound distortion was all written down, and Ed has copied that to a T. So none of that was dramatized.
Wow. It's quite intense, isn't it?
Mental.
Yeah, it's very odd. I think that's probably the closest thing we'll ever get to hearing like the proper audio.
Yeah.
You could almost say that was like the proper audio. You could have said, we've got their audio, and I wouldn't have known who it was. I'd be like, oh, this is really clear audio. Oh, it's brilliant. Well done.
Thank you,
So
guys.
yeah, go and...
Brilliant.
Mike from Brew Crime and Ed from Octoberpod AM, go give him a 5-star review just for that, because that was fab.
Brilliant.
But how bizarre.
So
bizarre.
strange.
That noise at the end.
It was eerie.
It
Very.
You could like imagine with how they were describing it and the noises and stuff, you can kind of imagine it happening. How scary would that be?
Yeah.
Terrifying. And there was nothing, well, you're probably going to get into this, there's nothing ever found, like no shrapnel.
Okay. I've got a little bit more.
Okay. Give me
so
just
there was, of course, an
bit more.
extensive search for Frederick in the air and sea, but not a single trace of him or the plane was found, and eventually the vanishing was considered fatal and the case was closed. Now the big question, what on earth happened to Frederick Valentich? The first theory, of course, is that he was an unexperienced pilot and it was nighttime, he got disorientated, turned upside down, and was actually seeing his own reflection in the water, and eventually crashed into the ocean.
Semi-plausible.
Apparently it does happen with pilots.
But you know you're upside down, though, because like your hair would be like... Burp.
But maybe, well, he'd have had short hair. I don't know. Anyway.
On my cheeks would be going... Definitely not. My boobs would be in my face.
Yeah.
Nah.
But it does have holes. It doesn't account for the metallic shine the other craft appeared to have, or that he saw it flying past him and over and underneath, and in one instance disappearing altogether.
Yeah. Both scenarios are terrifying, though. Imagine him not knowing that he's flying upside down and he could see himself in the water. That as well is absolutely terrifying.
I mean, it's to do with planes, so I'm terrified anyway, because I'm absolutely petrified of aeroplanes.
Are you?
Yeah, oh yeah. Then, of course, if we forget most of the transcript, he did describe engine issues. So one theory is plainly that his engine failed, resulting in a crash. Okay, so there was also a meteor shower that night that could possibly account for the lights in the sky he was seeing. And if he was disorientated, maybe he was seeing them pass at great speed and thought it was a type of unknown craft. And then, the most obvious and yet the less likely theory is he encountered a UFO.
Ironically, I don't think it is the less likely theory. I think that's the most plausible explanation. Is that because we do this podcast?
Probably.
It's probably right. I was just like, UFO.
Instantly, UFO.
Yeah.
I was like, what other explanation could there be?
I agree, but I think UFO abductions and all that, it's still very not taboo, but does it happen? I don't know.
Yes, Emma, yes it does.
Okay, there we go then. Well,
I just think, sorry, I'm interjecting here.
You're fine, interject.
But I actually think we would be really narcissistic as a race to believe that we are the only beings ever on our planet, that there's no other life anywhere else, apart from what we know.
I think the point is, there's obviously life on other planets in other galaxies, but that they're so far away that to come and visit us, that their technology would have to be extremely advanced. And if they were that advanced, why would they waste their time coming to visit us? It would be a bit like...
Sorry, have you met us three alone? That's why.
Maybe.
Technology's advanced, but have they got the humour of us? I don't think so.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe they just come down to like tune into spine chillers and serial killers.
Yeah, then they go back again. They'll be like, are they going to mention us?
Are they talking about us?
Are they fangirling over us?
Crescent, you're on. They're talking about the sex.
You dirty slag. Oh dear. Just joking. I don't know if that's offensive to aliens.
I think people compare it to as if we'd spend a load of energy and time going to another planet to visit ants, basically.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I could be properly super narcissistic for saying this as a race. But I think the fact that humans got as intelligent as they did was an accident. And I don't know if that would happen again. Because if you look at everything else compared to like a human brain, that just sounds really, really full of ourselves, doesn't it? I heard someone else, there was a scientist talking about it, and he said that he just think that the humans becoming as intelligent as we have over a very short period of time was just an accident. And have we reached the max, the max of how intelligent that we can become? Are we going to just become more stupid now because of the technology that we've created? There was a whole big thing. I'll have to try and find the documentary about it. It was really interesting. But then it explained that maybe on other planets where there is life, that, like you say, that there's just a load of fish or a load of insects or a load of dinosaurs or whatever grew there first.
There's probably there's probably that, but if we take into account that there are UFOs and UFOs are actually aliens coming to the planet, then they have to be a lot more evolved than us, because there isn't the technology otherwise to travel from the distance that they're traveling, because we haven't found life on other planets anywhere near us. And as far as I know, we've explored quite far away. So I think it's more that they would need some extremely high-tech gear to get to us.
Yeah.
But
their
dolphins are really intelligent. Like dolphins and killer
also
whales.
rapists, though, so...
Yeah, we don't talk about dolphins here.
We don't talk about dolphins.
No.
That took me 3 years to get that song out of my head. Thanks, Tasha. Straight back in there.
Anyway, moving on. So, the less likely or more likely, depending on who you are, is that he encountered a UFO. Ufologists in the area said there were sightings of crafts in the sky that night and the day after his disappearance. One group even claims to have a photograph that was taken near where Frederick vanished that shows a UFO, but it also has been judged too blurry to be used as proof. A farmer that remained anonymous claimed he saw a huge craft above his farm and saw Frederick's plane attached to it, and he said the plane was leaking fuel. UFO groups have tried to find said farmer, but to no avail. But judging by his final conversation and the many sightings we know to be real by modern-day pilots, is it really all that unlikely that Frederick was in fact abducted by aliens? I feel like the more the governments tell us, the more likely the possibility is. The weird thing is that Frederick had a fear of experiencing a UFO encounter. He spoke of it often with his father and his girlfriend, stating that if he ever saw one, he would only go willingly if Rhonda came too. But in all reality, the idea terrified him. The last theory is that he planned his own disappearance or committed suicide. But this has been hugely debunked by his friends and family, stating that he had a very happy and excited feeling about his future plans with Rhonda and would never do something like that. 5 years after the event, an engine cowl flap washed ashore on Flinders Island. The Bureau of Air Safety Investigation noted that the part came from the same type of aircraft Valentich was piloting, and that it had serial numbers within the same range as Valentich's plane, but could not confirm with certainty that it was his plane. His father spent his lifetime praying that he had been abducted by aliens and not crashed, because that gave him hope that he might see him again. Sadly, he died in 2000, never getting the answers he'd so desperately wanted. The disappearance of Frederick Valentich remains one of aviation's most enduring mysteries. This case continues to captivate and puzzle researchers and enthusiasts alike, with no definitive answers emerging in the decades since the event. And there you go.
Oh, wow. That's alarming.
It's a bit disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Just mildly.
I think I'd have sounded a lot more panicked on those recordings, so he's a very brave person if he thought that he saw a UFO and was still kind of staying calm.
Staying cool.
Yeah, cool as a cuke.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think happened to him?
UFO. Despite just having said, I think we're the only ones. Definitely UFO.
Tash, UFO?
Yeah, I mean, what else? I mean, there is other options, but I think UFO.
Same. UFO. Okay, we've sorted it. We
debunked it.
Yeah.
We solved it.
Problem solved.
2024. All it took was 3 women on a podcast.
Yeah. He just got up to the same stuff after that for years, that what we looked at last week's episode. That's what he was doing.
What, suckling?
Suckling. Every day I'm suckling.
If you had to suckle off any animal, what animal?
Oh my
would-
God.
Don't like the word suckle. Probably a cow.
It's life or death. You have to do it.
Cow.
What would it be? A cow. That's quite a big titty in your mouth.
Well, it's milk, innit? Yeah, I know that all of it will be milk, but I've heard that like rabbit's milk is thick, like
Come.
a pate.
Thick like pate. You heard it here first. Rabbit's milk is thick like pate.
Is that true?
Yeah, I swear it is, because when my rabbit had babies...
Cara Beth, now's your time to shine. Is it true?
Oh, the t-shirt idea. The t-shirt idea. So, rabbit milk is thick as pate.
Oh no, I'd buy some shorts and put my butt is as thick as rabbit's milk. Something like that. Something to that. Even though that's a complete lie, I have no arse.
So, okay, Becky's suckling on a cow. What are you suckling on, Tash?
I don't know. It was my question and I don't know.
I thought we had one in the ignition ready to go.
What do I... Oh, I don't know.
What
I guess it would... I think it would have to be a cow, you're right. Maybe one of those, like, nice
We could do it, there's 4 of them as well. We could all do it at the same time.
I ain't suckling no cow. I am not putting an udder in my mouth.
But it could be one of those nice ones that like cuddling, you know.
Oh, like them
makes
cute
it
cows.
weirder.
Well, the udder.
That's cuddling us while we're suckling on its udder teat.
Oh, let's move on. I'm sorry for asking that question.
I don't know what I'd suckle on, but it sure as fuck wouldn't be a cow. Gross.
Well, I wouldn't do it willingly. She made me reply, and I gave an answer.
Maybe a capybara.
It was going to be a cat.
Because they're chill as fuck.
I'm obsessed
and
with
it'd be a
capybaras.
It'd be like tiny little teat.
Would it?
What about a dolphin, Emma, since you love them so much?
I've got nothing personally against dolphins, but I'm not like a massive fan. I don't have.
I bet you were at one point, though.
I bet you had that dolphin little
Hang on,
money
a
box.
Have you?
Everyone had one of those.
Have you met me? Do you think I was that child to have a dolphin ornament or a little jewellery box?
Well, I got bought it by someone. I didn't buy it myself.
My daughter bought one at the car boot last year, and I love it.
I did not have any dolphin stuff.
Delphine
The dolphin, no.
Yeah. Anyway.
I was just going to say the whole group of words that go into breastfeeding, like suckling, teat, udder. None of it is nice. Nothing is nice.
Nipple. Areola.
I like areola.
Is it areola?
Areola?
That's not too bad.
Areola is such a weird word.
I like that word. That doesn't gross me out.
It sounds a little bit like a pasta dish. Would you like some areola? Or a cheese?
It
Have
does.
some areola on that.
Nipple, on the other hand, nipple is gross.
Nipple. I like the word nipple.
Nipple.
I only like it if I say it like that. Nipple. My nipple.
Nipple.
Do you know when it's cold and you go, it's a bit nippy? Do we say nippy because
your nips
we get
are on
nippy?
show? Yeah.
I think so.
That's weird. What about, isn't it because Jack Frost is nipping at your nose, like from the song?
Potentially.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe Jack Frost wasn't nipping at your nose.
I don't know.
Maybe he was nipping at your nips.
Listen, we've established we all left English education at quite a crucial point. So we are not the people to debunk this.
Can somebody find the origin of this phrase, it's a bit nippy? Please. And let us know. Write in. Spine chillers.
Shall we just Google it now rather than maybe?
No. Audience participation.
Yeah, exactly. What's our email address again? SCSK_pod. No, it's not that. Spinechillers.
No, it's chillers.killers.pod@gmail.
It's nothing like you forever.
Fucking nothing like it. So yeah, email us chillers.killers@gmail.com. No, chillers.killers.pod. Oh, fuck it. Just send a message on Facebook. It'll be right.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, Becky, come on, over to you after all this tilly chat.
Tilly-tattling. Nipple.
We still haven't got over last week, have we? That's what's doing this.
Yeah. I think it's another one that's going to come up in conversation every now and again.
Tash even called David Carl during the end of the episode. When we said, "Oh, he looks like Carl," Tash was just like, "That's his name now. It's not David, it's Carl."
Yeah, I'm just gonna
it's an obsession. We are obsessed with Carl.
He would have gone for the rabbit's milk.
Oh, Jesus!
He would have gone for his own milk, mate. Right, anyway, come on.
Oh. Right, I'm gonna get on with the story now. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, babes.
Okay. Right. So slightly different story this week, which I find that I say it all the time, but this is a little bit different. Barry Keener was once just an ordinary UCLA student, navigating life like anyone else his age. He had a connection to fame, having gone to grade school with Nancy Sinatra, the sister of Frank Sinatra Jr., whose dad was the Frank Sinatra.
Nancy Sinatra sang "These Boots Are Made for Walking," didn't she?
Yeah.
These boots are made for walking.
I do think that's a loose claim to fame.
Oh, but it's definitely what I used to go in school with this person. It'd be one of those things that people hang on to, and that would be their conversation starter.
Okay. Fair.
Frank Sinatra, I'm sure most of you have heard of him. Massive, famous American singer. Sang My Way, Fly Me to the Moon, New York, New York, to name a few. Very famous. But by 1963, life had taken a darker turn for Barry. After a devastating car accident, he found himself battling against an addiction to painkillers. Desperate and searching for a way out, his mind wandered to extreme solutions. But what? He decided to buy and sell rabbit's milk. No, he didn't. Sorry. No. So, he needed money, and fast. In a haze of desperation, a scheme began to take shape in his mind. A kidnapping. It sounded crazy, but the idea persisted.
It is crazy. Let's just stick with the rabbit's milk. That was a better plan.
Much less crazy. Maybe a bit of bull sperm, if we're going to go on the weird... that's worth a lot of money.
Oh.
What the fuck?
Welcome back, guys.
Anyway.
So he's going to kidnap someone.
Yeah. At first he considered abducting Tony Hope, the son of the comedian Bob Hope, but Barry hesitated because Bob Hope was beloved across the nation, known for entertaining troops and embodying American values. So targeting his son didn't sit right with Barry. Kidnapping Tony just didn't seem like a very American thing to do. So he decided against this one.
Okay.
Arguably anyone, but, certainly not him.
Yeah. Then another person came to mind. Frank Sinatra Jr., so the 19-year-old son of the legendary singer Frank Sinatra Sr. So unlike Bob Hope, Frank Sinatra Sr. had a reputation of being tough and for always getting what he wanted, too rich for his own good.
Well, that's that then. Kidnap his kid.
Yeah, exactly.
See the logic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be someone, so why not him?
It doesn't have to be anyone.
Well, you know when you get a famous person and you kind of just start not liking them for no reason? Like, you've got something in your head he's up himself. This is what he basically was like with Frank Sinatra. So.
The logic is flawed. It's like, I'm a bit skint at the minute. What could I do? Get a second
I'm just going to kidnap. I know also... It shows how it was at the time, because now those type of people are completely untouchable. You can't get anywhere near them, whereas before they used to mooch around a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just mooching.
Yeah. So Barry rationalised the plan, thinking that it wouldn't be so wrong to make the elder Sinatra suffer a little. And worrying about his son for a few hours could possibly make him feel not in control for once and vulnerable like those less fortunate than him. In Barry's twisted logic, it just felt justified. The kidnapping, in Barry's mind, wasn't about greed. He imagined it as a temporary loan, a way to pull himself and his family out of financial ruin. He would take the ransom, invest it, and make enough money to pay everyone back. That all of his family, and that is lent money off. And then eventually he'll return the money back to Frank Sinatra. It seems simple enough.
I'm just going to put this out there. Barry sounds mental.
Barry's insane.
He's kind of oversimplifying everything in his head. I don't think he's really thinking about consequence.
He's also just trying to justify what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah. And also, I don't think Mr. Sinatra is going to be like, all right then, I'll take my money back and I won't report you in any way. Once he gets his money. I don't know. Anyway.
No, he's mental. He's got a distorted sense of reality.
Yeah. He's definitely got problems, this Barry. So...
Poor old Bazza.
Yeah. Barry's initial attempts to carry out the abduction in Phoenix and Los Angeles failed, but he was determined. The perfect moment seemed to be approaching. The date was set for 22nd of November, 1963. But fate had other plans. On the same day, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, throwing the nation into chaos. So there was police everywhere. He couldn't do anything.
That's your, universe sign saying, just don't do it.
Yeah. Forget this
idea. Just get a job, Barry.
Yeah. Undeterred, Barry quickly shifted his plan, and his new target location was in Nevada. On the scenic shore of Lake Tahoe, Frank Sinatra Jr., so that the son, was performing at Harrah's Club Lodge, following in his father's footsteps, trying to carve out his own music career. It was the perfect opportunity, his last chance before Sinatra Jr. left for Europe. And then Barry's plot would just be gone for good. He didn't know when he's going to be back from Europe, so he's kind of stuffed then. That was it. The plan was in motion, but it soon began to unravel in ways that Barry hadn't anticipated.
What happened?
Well, that's it. There's nothing else happened. I'm not going to tell you.
And that's the end of the story.
On the 8th of December 1963, Barry and his accomplice, Joe Amsler, made their way to Harrah's Club Lodge in State Line, Nevada. Their target, Mr. Sinatra Jr., was preparing for the show that evening. The pair, I don't know how the fuck they got in there. I really don't know how. This was just like, yeah, we'll just let anyone in. The pair approached his room around 9 p.m., where Sinatra Jr. was sitting with a man called John Foss, his trumpet player, enjoying a quiet meal of chicken before their performance.
That feels heavy.
I don't know, chicken can be light, depends if it's fried.
I just assumed it was fried, I don't know, that was very judgmental of me.
Maybe it was grilled or poached.
Nice. I don't want poached chicken.
Poached chicken?
I don't know, I was just trying to think of how can I make it really, really plain? Ugh.
Poached chicken with a side of rabbit milk.
I don't want either.
Oh, nice.
Nobody does.
Everyone's going to be really grossed out by rabbits.
Don't you lactate near me, bunny.
Yeah. Saw this pate everywhere. Oh, we need to stop that. I didn't mention it.
I think it's pink. I don't think it's pate. I think rabbit milk is pink.
We're not talking about the colour, we're talking about the texture. Is it pink?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, let's move on. I'll quickly Google
Yeah, we can Google it by the end and we could just have a little laugh about it, okay? So Barry and Joe knocked on the door, they disguised themselves as delivery men to gain entry. And once inside, Barry was like super nervous and on edge. But anyway, he still managed to pull out his gun, his voice tense as he repeated the same line over and over again like a broken record. Don't make any noise and nobody'll get hurt. Don't make any noise and nobody'll get hurt. That's what he was repeating again and again and again. The small room went into stunned silence and Barry took control. Both of you get over there and lie on the floor. This is a robbery.
Bum, bum, bum.
Where is your money? He demanded. So Foss, the trumpet player, had no money and Sinatra Jr. only had $20. So Barry and Joe took the cash and started tying Foss up with like duct tape. And then they were like pretending that they didn't know who Sinatra was. And they blindfolded him and just took him out to their car. When they got to the car, that's where they met their third, the third person that was involved in the kidnapping, which is a man called John Irwin, and he was waiting for them.
I think the word you're looking for is accomplice.
Yeah, that's the word. I was like, I put a third of that.
The third pal in.
The third person that's involved in this terrible crime.
Matey boy who joined in. He's just here for the lulz.
Yeah. However, Foss freed himself within minutes and immediately notified the authorities. Even though he'd managed to call the police straight away and the roadblocks had already been started setting up, they'd managed to get through the police roadblocks before they were fully set up. And they brought Frank Sinatra Jr. to a quiet suburb in Los Angeles. So they demanded that Sinatra Jr. give them their father's phone number so they can start the ransom.
His father.
Yeah, his father, not their father.
Help.
No.
Give me my dad's phone number.
I don't know who he is. I've heard this is how we do it.
That really made me laugh. Oh, I'm so hot.
Oh. All right. So they demanded Sinatra Jr. give them his dad's phone number, but Sinatra Jr. wasn't easily intimidated. He was like, shoot me, beat me up, whatever. Whatever, Trevor.
Go on, Trev. Gary. Barry.
Go on, Baz.
You starting.
Go on, eat me.
You want some?
I'll go wake you up.
Let's have it then. Let's have it.
I don't know why Sinatra Jr. has turned into a British
This is actually
chap.
a really serious situation, actually.
This doesn't end in murder, does it? Because we're going to have to redo the whole thing.
You're going to have to see. So, yeah, he was like, yeah, shoot me, beat me up, whatever. I'm not going to give you a phone number and I'm not scared of you, guys. That's what he said. So that told them.
They were told. Yeah.
Yeah. What Sinatra Jr. didn't know was that Barry and Joe didn't actually need the phone number, as they had learned that Frank Sinatra Sr., alongside the FBI, were already working to try and get his son back. And they were actually had a setup in Mapes Hotel in Reno, coordinating efforts to recover his son.
That was fucking quick. That was really quick.
Yeah, I think this is like over the evening. I don't know how far they had to drive away.
Oh, okay.
Barry's other accomplice, John Irwin, managed to get the hotel's number, and he actually managed to get through to Sinatra Sr. and give him the ransom instructions. The demand was simple, $240,000.
That's a lot of money for back then.
Aim high.
In the 60s.
200, how much did you say? 240?
Yes. Random, isn't it?
Why not 50?
You can't tell Barry what to do, Emma.
Don't be greedy, Emma.
That 10,000 makes a difference.
I only need 240,000, so...
Yeah.
No, but I like it to be rounded up. You round stuff up. If you're going to be ransoming, you know...
If you're going to be ransoming... yeah, you'll know how to ransom if you look into Emma's Guide to Ransoming.
You round it up. It's by 5, okay? So
Rule
50,
number
100,
1,
150.
round it up. Round it up. Always ask for more. They'll haggle you.
Ask for more, you can always
Just
take
6
less.
pages of it going, round it up.
Just make sure it's rounded up.
For God's sake. Oh, and attach your victims appropriately, but make sure.
Make sure you've got other people to be involved in the crime with you.
You could call them accomplices.
You
Yeah.
can call them accomplices if you would be so inclined.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
just
it's
the third
it's just people. It's just people that are there.
Just people, just some others. Chums.
Oh god, this episode is definitely for the more hardcore serial chillers who like our banter. Because if you don't, I sincerely apologise.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying that last week was really easy to edit because we didn't do this?
Oh yeah, but you're under the assumption I'm going to cut this out when I'm not.
Don't just leave it in. I don't care.
I'm just leaving it in. It's going.
Right.
$240,000.
I'm just going to say the amount again to annoy Emma. $240,000.
Ridiculous.
Sinatra Sr. agreed to pay it, but actually offered to more than quadruple the ransom to $1 million because he just wanted his son back.
Frank.
Go on, son.
See, do you know what he did? He rounded it up.
Yeah, he did. He made your book.
He rounded it all up.
Oh, did he pay for the editing on your book? So funny. Oh, so funny. I don't know if anyone else will find it as funny as we do. Anyway.
They will. We're hilarious. It's fine.
But Keenan declined the offer to Emma, and he was sticking to his original $240,000.
240,000. Baz. Look at Tasha's face. Tasha's just
So he declined £1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah, but I mean,
In
he declined
1960 summer, what, 3 was this?
that was mad money.
It's mad money now. Mad money then.
I mean,
We're like 10
but
million
don't forget,
now.
Tash.
he knew what he wanted to do with money.
It was a loan.
Yeah.
He was going to give
Yeah.
it back. You don't want to borrow too much.
The rule is only borrow money that you can pay back.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah, the C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't need all that. It was
No.
just a
But
loan.
the other rule is only lend money that you're willing not to get back. Sorry, I burped.
Yeah.
Do you want to
what
say
you
that
mean.
again without
Yeah.
the burp, or should I just leave it in with?
The next rule is
I don't think she gets to say it
Only
again. I'm going to
lend
speak for the whole
money
thing. No,
if you're
no.
willing to not have it back.
It's a sensible rule.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he said no.
Okay.
Fuck your million. I just want 240,000.
Yeah. That's too much. Too much for me. Too much.
Yeah. Can't pay you back.
Nah. He'd just have to give it back straight away, so there's no point. So the FBI later reported that on the 10th of December, John Irwin, told Sinatra Sr. to drop off the money between 2 school buses somewhere in California. Early the next morning, on the 11th of December, Sinatra Sr. complied, handing over the ransom as instructed. So he did it. Fucking well done, Sinatra, as well, because I reckon half of them like, oh no, I'm not going to do it myself. Like, no, they just make someone else do it. I don't know. I just think it's
You've
good.
rejected my £1 million.
It was a bargain. Because, he was willing to go up for $1 million. It was a bargain.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I do think in ransom situations, just give them the fucking money.
Well, yeah, he had it as well. And I think that's why he was like trying to say, please don't hurt my son. I'll even give you more if you give me my son back as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Because sometimes they hand over the money and the person's already dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. As the plan seemed to near its conclusion, tension was growing amongst the kidnappers. While Barry and Joe headed out to pick up the ransom money, John Irwin, their third accomplice, managed to panic. The weight of their crime was too much for him, and instead of waiting for Barry and Joe to return, Irwin made a fateful decision. He let Sinatra Jr. go. In the early hours of December the 11th, Sinatra Jr. was found wandering around in Bel Air, dazed but unharmed. He approached a security guard for help, and to avoid the waiting press, the guard hid the young man in the trunk of his car and drove him to his mother, Nancy's house, reuniting him with his family. Despite Sinatra Jr.'s escape, or kind of being let go, the plan had still succeeded in one crucial way. They had the money. For Barry, Joe, and Irwin, the kidnapping itself had never truly been the point. What mattered was the cash. In their eyes, the fact that Sinatra Jr. was safe didn't really dampen their victory. Because they didn't get to keep him for as long as they wanted. I don't think they ever wanted to hurt him, but... they didn't really care that they could have traumatized him or anything. They were just like, right, we got the money. That's what we wanted. So The trio celebrated with unrestrained glee. They laid all the money out and danced on it, lit cigarettes with it, did all the things that they'd seen in the movies. Barry later admitted to the Washington Post that they had a money war, throwing wads of bills at each other. So I could just imagine them all in their underwear on the bed, just like having a money fight. I don't know why. Feathers flying everywhere. Slow motion.
They sound like idiots.
Yeah. Lighting cigarettes with money when you've got money problems. Hello. But their joy was short-lived. Sinatra Jr., shaken from his ordeal, couldn't provide the FBI with many details about his captors. However, he didn't need to. Irwin, racked with guilt, confessed everything to his brother, who promptly turned him in to the police, because this was a massive story at the time.
Yeah.
Soon after, Irwin, Joe, and Barry were arrested, bringing the saga to an end. The trial came quickly. On the 10th of February 1964, the 3 men faced justice, despite Barry's initial claim that the kidnapping had been nothing more than a publicity stunt orchestrated by those close to the Sinatra family, an accusation that he would later recant. All 3 were found guilty. Barry and Joe were sentenced to life in prison, plus 75 years. Irwin received just 75 years behind bars. Yet their sentences didn't last as long as anyone expected. After psychiatric evaluations and several appeals, all 3 men were released far earlier than their original terms. Joe and Irwin served only 3.5 years.
That is severely reduced.
Ridiculous. Whilst Barry remained incarcerated for 4.5 years. Ooh, big whoop. And it's because they were like intelligent white men.
Were they intelligent?
Well, they were like they were like businessmen. I mean, it wasn't going very well for Barry, as we know, but F knows why they let them out. God knows why they let them out. In a bizarre twist of fate, Barry's life took an unexpected turn after his release. He found an incredible success in real estate, amassing a fortune and mingling with some of Los Angeles' wealthiest citizens, including Frank Sinatra Jr. himself.
Stop it!
Oh my god!
Stockholm Syndrome.
Despite,
You were my favourite kidnapper.
Yeah, I loved you so much in that kidnapping we did. Despite occasionally crossing paths with him, the two men never actually exchanged a word. They were just at a few parties together.
That's still awkward, though, isn't it?
That's like really awkward.
Yeah.
I'd have got drunk if I was Sinatra Jr. and be like, "Hey, you gonna kidnap me again? Oh, come on then, lads.
Here I am.
Oh, I'm over here now.
Oh, maybe I'll kidnap you instead.
Yeah. Come kidnap me, baby."
Anyway, we shouldn't joke about kidnapping. It's very serious.
He was all right. I'm sure he wasn't. I'm sure he had a little bit of trauma. So the kidnapping, while traumatic, cast a long shadow over Sinatra Jr.'s life, but not in the way he had once hoped. It wasn't his musical talent that propelled him into the spotlight at 19, but the rather sensational crime that he had survived. The incident followed him for the rest of his life, even as he tried to step out of his father's formidable shadow.
I do feel bad for the geezer, though.
Yeah.
It's rubbish.
Well, in 2021, a man called John Stamos released a podcast about the Sinatra kidnappings, calling Snatching Sinatra. So I think you can get like a more detailed version of it there. I haven't listened to it. Barry and John Stamos became actually really good friends after this podcast, and they kept in touch. And the following year, after that podcast was released, Barry texted John Stamos saying that he was going to commit suicide. And he followed through and died on the 13th of November, 2022. He was 82 and he was in a tremendous amount of physical pain. So I think he wasn't very well and just couldn't carry on with it.
Barry, this is.
Poor Barry. Yeah, this is Barry.
I mean...
I'm torn, but yeah.
He didn't actually murder anyone.
Is sad. No.
I think they were very
He was just a
stupid.
bit-
Yeah, in there.
Yeah.
Do you know what? He tried his luck. He nearly got away with it, and then he didn't.
Yeah. I mean, he was only 23 when this all happened. He was stupidly young. 23 when he did this kidnapping.
Fucking hell. The things I did when I was 23. Come on. Leave him be.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the amount of kidnaps for ransom that I did in my youth.
Hey.
Oh, so much.
Unbelievable.
Too many to count.
Yeah.
These guys did so well after prison. So Joe Amsler was a stunt double in Hollywood for some time and then kind of retired from that and became a farmhand. He died on the 6th of May 2006 from liver disease. John Irwin seemed to disappear after his release from prison, so I don't know what happened to him. Frank Sinatra Jr. passed away on the 16th of March 2016 at the age of 72. He died unexpectedly from cardiac arrest while on tour. It's very similar to the way that his father died. I think he died of cardiac arrest as well. And that's it. So not murder, but kidnap this week.
Well, thanks so much for that. And
Thanks, Becky.
It's not as sad as murder.
no, but I prefer it sometimes. I mean, it's always nice when they don't die.
Yeah.
For anyone else asking, rabbit's milk is in fact white, not pink, like I thought, but hippo's milk is pink.
I dare you to go and suckle on a fucking hippo.
And black rhino's milk is black.
Well, there you go.
There ends my milk facts.
Tune in for more milk facts next week.
Oh, God, I hope not. I hope not.
Got milk?
You can find us at all the usual places. Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
The
TikTok,
moon.
X. Wherever you want to find us, you can find us. We're there. Just type us into Google.
YouTube.
YouTube, everywhere. We are everywhere.
Like a rash.
Yep.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, guys. Stay safe.
Don't kill people, please.
And keep it weird.
Goodbye.
He left Moorabbin Airport. Excuse the cat. He left Albert. Just Albert passing through.
It would be Albert.
It's always fucking Albert.
Gary's initial attempts to carry out an abduction.
Barry.
What did I say, Gary?
Gary.
So,
right, I've just got a handicapped cat walking all over my desk. What do you want, Discord?
What do you want? I'd like a dog.
I want to be on part of the podcast. Can you meow for us?
This is my feral wild cat.
Meow, meow, meow.
He looks so feral and wild.
Do you think he was feral? Because he's pretty chilled now, isn't he?
Yeah, but it took a lot of doing. And I am the cat whisperer.
You are the cat whisperer.
But he's best buddies with Albert now, so I've got two of them. Just got two little knobheads. Go on, off you go.
Oh, I'm so happy that little Albert's got a little friend. That's just as special
Well,
as he
it was really sad because he used to have Pandora and Tinkerbell, and they both died because they were a lot older cats and they both had health issues. And then Albert was all by himself.
No.
But now he's got little Dissy, little limpy Dissy.
Oh.
Discord is a feral cat I scraped off the road after he got hit by a car, if anybody didn't know the story. I don't know if I've ever spoken about it on the podcast. And he had a completely shattered front leg and broken hips and 2 broken back legs.
He was in a bad way, wasn't he?
He was in a bad way. And he was completely feral and just attacking and hissing and just like the most fierce cat I've ever known. And now he's a teddy bear with a limp.
Aww.
And he wants to get into podcasting.
Yeah.
Do you know what? If there's an opening for anyone, there's an opening for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Sepulveda? Oh, I don't know how to pronounce this. I didn't.
That's evident.
Sepulveda. Sepulveda. Sepulveda?